Lynda Beetham, nee Falls, because it is pronounced Falls, right?
Yeah,
it's
that
not
is correct.
Folds.
No, it's Falls.
It is Falls.
Yes.
And you've been here at Camp Huronda since day
1976.
1976. Yeah. And how'd you get here?
My brother Ian was diagnosed with diabetes in 1971. First year camp opened, and he was at Sick Kids, and his doctor, Dr. Howard, suggested that this would be a good idea for him to come to this brand new camp. And because my brother was 12, and it was like spring.
Yeah.
And so he came for 2 weeks, and then he phoned home and asked if he could stay for 2 more. And the rest is history.
Yeah. Did he have to convince you to come here, or did you say, "Oh, that seems like a nice place"?
No, I said he had so many friends here. They started hanging around our house. I started getting to know them, and then they started saying, "Well, why don't you come and work at camp?" So when the year I turned 16, I worked in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I liked that so much that I wanted to come back. And in fact, when I worked in the kitchen, Jill Harrison let me be kind of a part-time CIT with her cabin group.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that so much that I applied to come back as a counselor next year.
You know what? My first year at camp, there was a guy in the kitchen who just started hanging out with my cabin group and became like my CIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, it was so nice of Jill to let me do that, because I started feeling included, because it's a little harder when you're in the kitchen because your schedule is so different.
And what made it enjoyable in the kitchen that you want to come back?
Oh, camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, it's the people, it's the place, it's the things that we do, it's the whole package.
Yeah. And did you play guitar before you came to camp, or did you learn here?
No, learned here. Started playing here. And my brother already played, so I learned a little from him, learned from a whole bunch of people. After a few years, when I was ready to maybe play at campfires and stuff, it was great. I would play with like Mike Bruce and Dave Withers and that crowd, and I was terrible, but I would get up and play with them and not really play.
Yeah, that's how I started. That's how I started here with like Craig Floyd and Pete Gracie
I would just play and not
I'm making the wrong chords, but I'm not hitting the strings anyway.
Exactly,
so
right?
yeah.
So I just got used to them being in front of the group, and then slowly, you start getting to know some of the songs and feeling a little more confident and start actually playing along. And
yeah. Now you went from kitchen staff and eventually director. Some people I've talked to say that there was one role they enjoyed the most. Was anything stand out for you, or is it all just one blob of experience?
No, it's not all. It's not all a blob. I absolutely loved doing programming.
Yeah.
That and the first 2 years I did program, I did it with Dave Withers. We shared it, and in fact, the second year we clicked really well. We complemented each other really well. And the second year, we actually each took a pay cut so that we could still do it together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because when I was program director, there was only one program director, and I felt like you needed to bounce the ideas.
That's it. It's being able to bounce off of each other and be in a whole lot of places at one time. So So I loved being program. I loved being camp director too.
Yeah.
In a different way, not nearly as close to the heartbeat of everything as camp director, because there's too many other things that that you have to think about. But I enjoyed that.
Your year as director was one of my favorite years.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think there was a guy named Sean. There was another guy named Sean, and you were going to fire him. And you brought me into the little cabin one day and wanted to talk to me about him and whether you should fire him. And I thought, this is a conversation nobody would have brought me into before, and I appreciated it.
I valued your wisdom.
Yeah, like it was you, me, and Heather, or not Heather, but Marna and Paul Urban.
Yeah, because you know what? you're only as good as the people who are around you, right? And leadership is all about letting other people shine, and valuing the knowledge in the room.
Yeah, and that's
I
what
sure as heck never had it all. So
that's what people have said was Uncle Don's strength.
yes.
Is finding people with strengths and letting them run with that.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right? It was, he would challenge you and let you run with that challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be supportive of it.
Yeah. Now your brother has been planning this event here for 3 years.
Yes.
I feel like there's very few people that would have carried on in that role or held it up over everything. You want to comment on your brother?
Oh my gosh, you know what? All the things that I said about him this morning at the opening ceremonies, he is all of those things and more. I know that throughout the last 3 years, he's been to a place for all things that have been challenging in putting this together. But you know, he will always follow through.
Yeah.
Because he walks the walk.
He walks the walk, and the positivity.
More than anybody I ever met, he walks the walk. Whatever it is that he believes in, it's full tilt.
Yeah. And to keep it positive. Like that's where I would go off the rails a little bit.
Yes. I'm not really that good.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel about the weekend? How it's going here?
Oh, you know what? This has been my favorite one so far because I feel like I'm actually getting to see people.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that the community has been trying really hard to do, to make sure that all of the people who have worked hard to put this together get to enjoy some of the time here. And I feel like I'm able to do that this time. And and the weather is glorious. And the people are, listen, I mean, it's all joyful noise.
Yeah.
Right? What else is there?
Was there anybody special you didn't know was going to be here, or you're surprised to see?
Well, I didn't know. I really had no idea who was coming because Studies Canada did the registration this year. We didn't have the registration list. The last 2 reunions, we knew exactly who was coming.
Yeah.
This time it was fun because it was a surprise.
Yeah.
So every time I turn around, it's like, oh my gosh, there's somebody else.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of remember everybody's name. It's still a bit of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember all the faces.
Yeah, I will recognize faces, and I've called people the wrong name here so far. And can you explain to me why 5 people have called me Trevor this weekend? Why is that?
Because you look a little like Trevor Hugh Fry Smith.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
So you do look a little bit like him. And you know what? You don't talk like him. But you have the same intensity of speech.
Intensity of speech. Mm-hmm. All right. We both kind of walk kind of dopey.
I'm not commenting on that one.
No. We have gray hair, and he used to have gray hair that stuck out.
Yes.
And I think maybe I look like just a younger Trevor Smith.
Okay,
Maybe that's it.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, they think, oh, that's what Trevor used to look like, so that must be Trevor. They don't realize that Trevor is morphed into old
Whatever
Trevor.
makes you feel good.
Talk to me. I don't want to let you go without talking about Uncle Don a little bit here.
Yes, so next to my parents, he was the number 1 influence in my life.
Yeah.
He was by far, like I said, next to my parents, he was the most influential. His opinion mattered to me.
Yeah.
And if there was a big decision in my life, he would be one of the people that I would go and talk to and ask about. And, he was one of those guys you never ever wanted to disappoint. Didn't matter if he got mad at you, but because that would get over fast. But you didn't want to disappoint him.
Yeah.
And that would be hard. He was a wonderful, quiet leader he always let everybody else shine, and he never needed to.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, he did do the little rabbit foo-foo thing.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes. He's the reason that I came back to be director with in 2008.
Yeah.
Because he asked me.
Yeah. That's why I did the newsletter, okay? Because he asked me to. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, because
he's
it
a
was
hard
him.
guy to say no to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And just to think of like, would anybody be here without him?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have. Yeah.
You know, and if somebody else had been the director, lots of great things would have happened. But I think the way that he shaped how camp evolved, it could not have been duplicated with somebody else.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I really do have to go back to the sound option
I know.
because I'm supposed to be there now.
I know.
The link is closed.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Lynda Beetham.
Okay, that wasn't so bad.